How about noticing the perceptions? How was that aspect of it? We have so many perceptions. But am I really sure? Am I sure about that? Am I sure about my perceptions? And our perceptions are just that, perceptions, right? And we tend to judge ourselves when we realize, or even while we're perceiving, we're judging ourselves, and releasing that too, releasing that judgment. Yeah, yeah, we battle our perceptions a lot. Yeah. But remember, it's helping us to gain insight into ourselves, right? What am I noticing? Am I sure? What am I doing? What am I doing right now? That one's nice because it's like, okay, oh, where am I? Where am I? Oh, no, I'm coming back to my breath, coming back to my breath. I'm here in the present moment. And so it really helps us with our right thinking. Why is learning to let go so hard? Why is that? I think it's because we want to grasp onto the control or being right, right? Particularly right in our perception, since we're talking about perceptions today. But if we can release that, it would bring a lot more happiness into our life. Well, I think, you said it, especially when we're working with, what other people think of us or, what their perceptions are, our perception of their perceptions. And we're always wrong in that way too, right? And even if we were right, it's like, well, why do we want to hold on to that perception? It's like we can't control anyone else. We can't control situations. And so why grasp onto it so tightly? And that's that learning to let go. Why is it so hard? Because there's something we want out of it. There's something that we find of benefit or we think of benefit to us by holding on. But if we can let that go, that's where we will find our peace, our calm, our equanimity, our balance in that. Yes, and that's a great question. Why do I want to make something wrong with myself so bad? Yeah. More inquiry, right? That we can use, whether you do journaling or, if you want to sit with your inquiry, you could certainly do that as well. But that's what it is. Yeah. Why is it that I want that? And you could write that out, that question that you just posed there, write that out in a journal and then ask your higher self to answer that. Your inner self, higher self, inner wisdom, whatever you call that aspect for yourself, and see what arises. And knowing everything that you've been learning, what is that? And a lot of times we want to make ourselves worse than we truly are. We don't want, we are so, we find the flaws so easily within us instead of finding our strengths. And when somebody picks up on a flaw, that's one of those ones that irritate ourselves, then it's like, oh well, I'm a screw up. I might as well just give up. But when I can look at the strengths that I have within me, then I can be more confident in who I am, and I can, well, set those boundaries if I need to, change my perceptions, right? And we find, as you were finding, as you were sharing, it's like, oh, well, their perception of you wasn't what you thought. It was a whole illusion that we made up. That here's that perception, but it was an illusion and it was dispersed. And, there's that saying, what other people think of me is none of my business. How about that? And that's something we need to remember too. What other people think of me is none of my business. That's you know, that's their business, their journey to work with. Let's see. I think we get put and let down so much that when good things happen, we aren't used to it. I would agree with that. And we tell ourselves we're not worthy of it because we were treated a certain way. How do we break that habit? Through our practice. That's how we break our habit. Through our practice for recognizing the basic goodness, as they say in Buddhism, the basic goodness that is within us, right? And other philosophies say the same thing, that we are whole and complete within ourselves. And nobody is going to recognize that for us. We have to recognize it for ourselves. We may have people around us or like minds around us that see that for us, but until we see it for ourselves, it may not make that much of a difference because we're going to go to the flaws, to uh, the incorrect things that I've done, the inappropriate things that I've done, the anger that I've had, or whatever it may be. We're not going to see it for ourselves because we are allowing that to cloud our vision. So when we allow all that perception of ourselves, right, to cloud our vision, we don't see the truth that's there within us. So we have to come back to our practice, right? And certainly the one practice that really helps us with that is loving kindness, right? And compassion practices, self-compassion, like when we have done the loving kindness with self-compassion, that's what brings us to that point. And as I shared with you, in the past, is that when I came to doing loving kindness with my mentor for many months, it was because of that very thing. I couldn't see what was in there. And it doesn't matter how many people would tell me how wonderful I was. Think of a lot of these celebrities who end up with addictions and overdoses and things like that. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much people adore you, that you can still be so miserable inside because you don't know you. And through our practice, insight meditation, that's about gaining insight into ourselves, right? And the more we get to know ourselves, the more balanced we'll feel and we'll appreciate ourselves. And I think that's the way. That's the way out of all of this. Being caught up in the spiral of delusion. But we have to be honest with ourselves too, right? It's like, I'm deluded. I'm perceiving incorrectly. And maybe there's things I do need to change about my behavior or the way I think or what have you. And then I do it. And when I do it, oh, it's making a difference. Oh, I can go into situations a little bit more calmly. It's that questioning, questioning ourselves too. Well, thanks for sharing that, opening up and talking about it. Um, yeah, it can be hard to do, very hard to do. But that is one avenue, or we can just talk with ourselves. Am I sure about this? Am I sure that this is what I'm perceiving? Or is this some veils in front of my vision? And certainly there's a lot of veils in front of our vision because we don't want to see ourselves as that we're good people. Unless we're narcissists, of course. And then, of course, we see ourselves as better than everyone. But I don't think any of you are narcissists here. We already know what narcissists are like. But seeing ourselves truly as we are. Hey, we're all human. That's what I love about the aspects of Buddhism is that we all share the same journey. We all get happy, we all get sad, we all get disappointed, we all suffer, all these things, just like me, right? There's this wonderful practice, and I think I've done it before with you. Just like me, we want much better for ourselves. Everybody wants that. And this is why, even though when we did our meditation, what's today, Wednesday, Monday, with the election meditation series that we've been doing, and we did a little bit of loving kindness to other people, even with opposing views. They want happiness too in their lives. It may not look the same way as our happiness, but they want happiness, and they may only know so much as to how it would look for them. And just because we don't see eye to eye doesn't mean that, they're not deserving of, all the goodness that's within them too. I know that's hard to, fathom. It's like, well, why don't they think like I think? Why don't they do what I do? But the thing is that when we can see from that balanced point of view, it can make a difference in how we approach ourselves, how we approach, others, even if we're not talking to them per se, but even in our minds, because it's about sharing love too, right? Even if we don't like the person, it's our intention. If you remember during the meditation on Monday, it's our intention behind it is that we want to share this. And we can't let anybody outside of that circle, right? Do this and it will work for you because it worked for me. Yeah. Yeah. That's why, when we even move through standard loving kindness, I guess you could call it standard, is that we're moving outside, right? We're including more and more in our circle. It's ourselves, it's our loved one, it's, our teacher, it's our neutral person, it's the person that, we don't care, we don't like so much. It's moving to all beings. And so it's bringing everybody into our love, our heart with kindness in that way. So I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day. Remember, am I sure? What am I doing right now? And see how that works for you.